Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ron coming to you from Grandpa's Toy Room, and I decided that I was going to answer Matt's question about how I kind of got started in models and what I choose to build. Um, well, I can't think what the other part of his question was, but anyway, I'm going to start out here with my story. In 1953, when I was 13 years old, my neighbor kid, who was 20 years old at the time, built a NASCAR Sportsman race car to race at. There was three tracks here in central Nebraska, one here in Broken Bow, one in Lexington, Nebraska, and one in North Platte, Nebraska, that was racing um, the Nebraska or the NASCAR modified sportsmans. And this is what got me started in dirt cars and loving race cars. I'm going to swing around here and try to show you a picture. This is in a book that was published here in Nebraska. Um, and this is actually a picture of his race car and his tow truck that him and Ray Velocic built. Um, he had to have Ray drive it for him that first year because Billy was only 20 and you had to be 21 to drive the NASCAR Sportsman cars. So Bill had Ray drive it the very first year. Then after that, Billy took off. But I'm going to come back and set it over here, or try to set this over here. See if we can get lined up so you've got halfway decent picture. I'm making you sicker than a dog probably. Sorry about that. But that was my start in dirt cars. Now there was also a lot of young guys here in town in the mid 50s, before I ever got my driver's license, that had hot rods also. Um, Several high school kids and guys just out of high school and that had built hot rods. Um, One of the very first ones I remember was a young man by the name of John Larson, and he actually went to Lincoln, Nebraska, and started Larson Racing Engines and built engines for a lot of the sprint cars and modifieds down in the Lincoln and down in Kansas area, places like that. But he had a bright yellow 32 Roadster, no fenders. It was, if I remember right, it was channeled down over the frame. Um, and of course, that just absolutely uh, intrigued or enthralled a 13, 14-year-old boy. So I started finding hot rod magazines, and it's just gone on from there. So you can see why I build a lot of dirt track cars, that type of stuff. I started building this model of Billy's car and his tow rig probably about 4 years ago, and I do not have the race car finished because I need the lettering that goes on the door that said Mesta Motor Company, and then back here it said Nebraska 5, and I have not been able to replicate that yet. Um, so that's why the car isn't finished. They had Ecker Auto on the hood, as you can see there, and I was able to do that with the rub-on uh, stickers. So I tried to build it as close as I could remember. Um, it had the stock flathead in it, although I'm sure it probably wasn't stock. because Billy and his dad built some flatheads that just were unreal the way they ran. The pickup I do have pretty well replicated to his. He had a flatbed on it instead of having a box, and they used to carry their spare stuff and their tools and their toolboxes in the back, and it says Ecker Auto Parts on the door. And then I come back around here again to the little race car. I can show you the screen and the crash bar that was on the front to help protect it. The inside, you can't hardly see it. Well, I know you can't see it, but it's got one single bucket seat in it. Everything is pretty much like I could remember. The roll cages were really pretty simplistic. You can kind of see it in there. They were really squared off. They were a very minimal car. There's no doubt about that. I didn't do hardly anything to the bottom. Chassis just almost kit original underneath. But I just wanted to make one that looked like his because that's what got me started. The hot rods, like I said, I've always been into hot rods and custom cars. And usually what I pick out for a build is either a race car that I remember or a car that I see that I really like. And for years and years, through the 90s and through the early 2000s, I was going to rod runs and car shows all over the central part of USA. And so that's why I build so many hot rods and dirt cars. I was also involved with the modified races down in Lincoln, and we used to run in Knoxville, Iowa, and 2 tracks in Lincoln. We kept going even after I moved back up here to Broken Bow. We kept going down to Knoxville for the Nationals and traveled as many sprint car races and stuff as I could. And that's another reason why I build so many race cars and sprint cars. And when I decide to build something, it's usually because of my association with hot rods and customs and stuff. I did get into building NASCARs many years ago. I have a big collection of NASCAR kits yet from the early 2000s. So that is how Ron got started in this. I've been a car nut my whole life, and so that's basically what I build is the cars and the cars and motorcycles, things like that I love. So thank you, Matt, for asking the question. Thanks all the guys that have been putting up videos telling why they've been doing this. I'm rambling enough now, so this is Ron from Grandpa's Toy Room saying I hope everybody is having a great Sunday afternoon. Thank you all so much for my subs. We're almost to 500. We hit 500. We're gonna have a giveaway. So thanks again, guys. This is Ron from Grandpa's Toy Room saying so long for now.